no probable cause exists to file any charge against Officer Wilson and returned a no true bill on each of the 5 indictments.
No indictment. A grand jury clears Officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri.
And now live pictures right now in Ferguson. This is the burning of a Walgreens, protests going on and violence to report. Of course, hundreds in law enforcement are there, from police to the FBI, even the National Guard, working their hardest tonight to try and keep the peace. Good evening, everybody. 3 months and 15 days after Michael Brown was killed, the grand jury has made its decision.
This after one of the most thorough investigations ever taken on. Dozens of witnesses, pages and pages of reports, but in the end, Officer Darren Wilson will not be charged. The grand jury met for 25 separate days. They heard more than 70 hours of testimony, and they interviewed about 60 witnesses. They also heard hours of recordings and reviewed the details from 3 autopsies from Michael Brown. The prosecuting attorney says this was a complete investigation.
They are the only people who have heard and examined every witness and every piece of evidence. They discussed and debated the evidence among themselves before arriving at their collective decision. After their exhaustive review of the evidence, the grand jury deliberated over 2 days, making their final decision.
Shortly after the decision, we got a statement from Michael Brown's family. It says, quote, "We are profoundly disappointed that the killer of our child will not face the consequences of his action." They also had a message for the thousands of protesters saying, quote, "We ask that you channel your frustration in ways that will make a positive change. We need to work together to fix the system that allowed this to happen."
Obviously, that is not happening. There is plenty of rioting going on. We're closely watching, in fact, St. Louis County Police for instant updates from Ferguson on Twitter. Look at that. You can see fires there of a police car. There have been reports of shots fired, plenty of looting, and as I just mentioned, a police cruiser had its back window smashed, more than one. It looks like that one is on fire. We want to take another live look at Ferguson, and I know we were looking earlier. This is apparently a bunch of folks surrounding a vehicle. Now, I'm not sure exactly what, or several vehicles that is, but plenty of people out there protesting at this time. We were looking at video just a little bit ago, a live look at the actual convenience mart where this all started, where allegedly cigarettes or cigars were stolen, that people were looting that particular convenience store.
We have also heard of, besides protests, that police have been using tear gas and smoke bombs to try to stop some of the violence and keep the crowds under control. And you can see the crowds are huge there. Yeah,
they're talking tens and tens of thousands of people filling the streets in and around Ferguson. Our Scripps station, KSHB, is right in the thick of it tonight.
Jenna Hanchard reports from the middle of all the protests on the reaction just after the decision was made outside the Ferguson Police Department.
We're outside of the Ferguson Police Department where a lot of people are gathering. It was definitely very tense when the St. Louis County prosecutor made the announcement that Darren Wilson was not going to be indicted. People were very frustrated, and they actually rushed the barricades and were throwing things at police officers. That's when things really heated up. So right now there are organized protests and people that have kind of been mulling about, but definitely a sense of frustration here tonight in Ferguson.